Hello. This is a league which will be slightly different. Let me get rid of that in the top corner. There we go. Swap my displays over so I can full screen this. Yeah, this is a slightly different league to usual. This is not a list that I'd usually play. This is a list that came 16th in the Team Open Cincinnati Star City Games on the March 23rd to 24th. This exact, well, not exact list, that's a lie. I have made a few changes, but this list has came 16th in the Team Open with this guy's team. Of course, as with all Team Open lists, you have to take them with a little bit of salt, because it's possible that it's entirely possible he just got carried the entire weekend. However, given that his modern player was playing Affinity with Experimental Frenzy, actual Affinity, not hardened scales, and his standard player was playing Sultai mid-range, which, as far as I'm aware, is actually a really good deck. But Affinity is not great, though maybe it's amazing with Experimental Frenzy, I don't know. But he must have done reasonably well in order for this to be a list that has done somewhat well. The changes that I have made to this list are mostly to do with the mana base. He has 4 gemstone mines. I don't own 4 gemstone mines on Modo, so I've replaced one of them with a City of Brass because I cannot be bothered to buy a 4th gemstone mines. Apart from that, everything else is identical. I had to buy a bunch of cards for this. Yes, everything is identical, apart from the City of Brass. Let's talk a little about this list, which is not normal. Well, not standard compared to Orem's 60. This deck has 2 main deck dread returns, not just 1, 2, and 2 main deck dread return targets. I'm not opposed to the idea of running 2 dread returns or 2 targets. I wouldn't do it in the main deck, but it lets you dread return more reliably. 0 street raids, 0 putrid imps, which makes sense given that he's gone down a non-blue source and he's gone up in terms of number of careful studies. So a lot of the changes he's made actually make a lot of sense in the context of the list. He's managed to fit in 4 prized amalgams. He went down a land, down a thug, down 4 street raids, down 2 putrid imps, and fit in 2 dread returns, a Flame Kin, a Griselbrand, an extra careful study, 4 prized amalgams. And he went down an Icarid as well, which I think is possibly the most controversial decision. Personally, I've played 1 league with this list. It didn't go very well. That was without the London mulligan, so this won't exactly be a like-for-like test with what he would have played in paper, because obviously they would have used the Vancouver mulligan. But it seemed interesting. A lot of people often ask, why do you not run Dread Return in the main deck anymore? I just want to kill people with Flame Kin Zealot. How do you not just lose when they untap and have a turn, because you need to win on the spot, is a lot of the arguments I see for things like Flame Kin Zealot. So we're going to try it out, see how it goes. In the sideboard, sideboard is wild, would be how I'd describe it. You've got an extra dread return, so 3 dread returns in total across the main deck and the sideboard. And 3 extra dread return targets. Iona, that's obviously good against like combo decks. Ashen Rider, that's good against prison decks. Elder Scale Worm, which frankly, having played a league with this deck, I did not have a clue when it was ever supposed to be used. 4 Nature's Claim and a Chain of Vapor as the only ley line removal. And 3 Firestorm, which again is a card I'm a bit like, when do I bring this in? So part of this will be an experience for me of working out when the hell am I supposed to use Firestorm. But yeah, let's give this a whirl and see how it goes. Right, in for the first game. I would like to play first. I guess we keep that. If he counters our Lion's Eye Diamond, it's not great, but hopefully we can have a turn, try and draw a land. Nice, dredging well already. Hit a 1 bridge, 1 therapy. No idea what he's on. Brainstorm's often my blind name, so I guess I'll go with that. Okay, so it is Miracles by the looks of things. I think I'm going to actually not return the Icarid here because I do not want to just get it Sword to Plowshare for nothing, and he deliberately didn't ponder last turn. This is good. This means next turn I will have 2 Icarids, so he will not be able to kill both of them. If he plows my zombie, I am very happy with that. And this sort of puts him in a bit of a bind because he didn't because next turn I'll basically end up with 3 creatures unless he terminuses me, at which point I'll be able to dread return a Griselbrand, which seems like it should just win the game. Gargari Thug can go, prized amalgam trigger. He'll have to plough an Icarid before I go to my main phase, or I'm just going to threaten to throw this Griselbrand onto the battlefield. And he'll definitely lose. See, this is looking really good. This is like, wow, Dreadretur's amazing. But what you have to realise is, this is Miracles. They would probably lose just to the Icarids alone. Like, imagine I'm just playing a standard list. I've got 2 bridges. I'm bringing back 1 Icarid now. This will kill him. This will kill him quite easily, especially if I hit a Cabal Therapy here and I'm able to take a Snapcaster Mage. This is very easily threatening to kill Miracles straight up. Obviously the prized amalgams feels great. Oh, I've got to stack these. Just past turn. He's got a brainstorm as well. But the thing is, if I'd have had this probably in my opening hand, there'd have been a Street Wraith, or there'd have been something else that was doing something. Yeah. But not knocking it. Clearly, this Dreadreturn's been useful so far. Okay, well now I'm in a bit of a bind, aren't I? Because I either have to eat my only Dredger or eat the Griselbrand. And if I just, whatever I eat... Returning Flame Kin Zealot does not win the game because he doesn't grant haste. Oh, they do gain haste. Okay. So that'd be, I'd eat 3 but get 2, hit him for 9, 12, but he would have a blocker with the Snapcaster Mage because he's going to flashback Snap Plow me. I'm inclined to just not, because I want to keep getting back Griselbrand, just seems better here than getting than exiling either of the things I want. Well, this is now a bit awkward. Okay, this is less awkward. I was going to say if we didn't hit that Narcomoeba, trying to Dread Return here would be really awkward, but the fact that we did means this isn't very awkward at all. We'll do it pre-combat. Yeah, because that was the risk there. If I hadn't hit the Narcomoeba, I would not now be able to Dread Return again. But it could just be possible that he has a second force. That's entirely possible. We're about to find out. Oh shit, sorry, shouldn't swear. I just realised if I keep doing this I'm going to deck out, so I have to cancel this before I... how many have I dredged? 7. Oh god, 1, 2, 3. Okay, I actually just have to cancel and not dredge anything, or else I'm definitely going to deck here. What's correct here? I just therapy him a bunch of times. That seems right. Even though I lose my Griselbrand, that seems correct. So he should have a Ponder and a Jace. I'm going to take the Jace because I'm more scared of Jace. King of the Trials. The heck's that? I mean, I'm going to get rid of it. Gideon of the Trials. This is some standard nonsense. Oh yeah, good thing I didn't leave the Griselbrand, or else it would have got absolutely ruined by this +1. That's a very annoying emblem. I need to discard. How many cards have I got in hand? I need to discard 10. 2 prized amalgams. Microbal therapy as well. Seems correct. Griselbrand has been somewhat clunky. Chooses not to shuffle. Ominous. Gonna eat the Griselbrand because I don't need it now. I'm gonna eat the Stinkweed Imp, but I'm gonna keep dredging because there's another Icarid in the deck. That's a concern. Eat Stinkweed Imp. I should be able to win this game in 3 turns. I do not want you to have Terminus, I guess. Another Gideon of the Trials. I turn sideways with everything. I'm not too fussed about my bridges going at this point. I just want to deal damage as soon as possible. Then maybe it was unnecessary. Because now it's worse if he does just rip Terminus off the top. Okay, and he scoops it up. There is no gravestones in this sideboard. In fact, there doesn't seem to be any cards that are useful against miracles in this sideboard. Absolutely none. Firestorm's not useful. Nature's Claim's not useful. Elder Scale Worm's not useful. Iona's okay. Maybe Iona's better than Griselbrand. Maybe Iona's better than Flame Kin, actually. Because I feel like, as you saw there, I could have reanimated a Flame Kin. It wouldn't have won the game. That's the problem I have with Flame Kin a lot of the time, is that you can reanimate a Flame Kin, but you need so much stuff for it to be worthwhile that it's often not worth it. Iona on white generally just ends the game. They can't Terminus you, they can't plough any of your stuff. Iona on blue stops them casting the other half of their deck. Yeah, I'm gonna go with this, and I'm gonna just go AFK. I am back. I'm going to mulligan this. This is a keep. Put a card on the bottom. I'm going to put Prized Amalgam on the bottom, because 2 dredges is good to play around Surgical. I want to probably play this hand slowly, just to avoid getting forced. That can potentially play into Containment Priest. It depends a lot on whether Lion's Eye Diamond gets countered. I think if a Lion's Eye Diamond doesn't get countered, I'm just gonna looting, because the floor on that's quite low. He needs to have like 2 counter spells. Maybe if he goes Island Go and doesn't counter my Lion's Eye Diamond, that might be he's got Force and Flusterstorm. But I'm going to put Prized Amalgam on the bottom. And how they play this first turn is generally a very good tell on what Miracles has in their hand. Yeah, so that tells me he probably has a Spell Pierce. He probably has a Flusterstorm, something like that. That's a very telling play, because you have to realise Miracle. Oh, this just makes the hand incredible, and I'm definitely just going to try and turn one of them. I'm going to go Lion's Eye Diamond. Lion's Eye Diamond. One, two, three, four, five. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I was just trying to see if I could do a Colosseum line. There is a line here where I go Colosseum, just crack an LED for a Faithless Looting. The problem with that line is that if he counters the flashback looting, it just loses, and I can't use the Colosseum because I'll have nowhere near enough cards in my graveyard. So the better line is definitely to looting, crack in response, and then looting again, because that plays around 2 counter spells. Okay. Why did I just not? Oh. It's because I'm used to using Nether Shadow. I'm used to having to cancel that. That was a mistake on my part, but as long as I do not get surgical here, I don't think it matters. I mean, if I get surgical, it doesn't really matter anyway. Yes, I've been playing so much with Nether Shadow, I'm used to having to just click any order to put things in my graveyard, and that's the reason why I just didn't dredge there. Perhaps I should have just flashed back Cabal Therapy there, but I'm not too fussed about this getting exiled. Okay, he does have a force, that's fine. Now I'm a bit more annoyed that I'd screwed up there. I might do that a lot this league. Do that, discard 2. Trigger 3 prized amalgams. Wow, prized amalgams looking great right now. So the only card that I'm somewhat concerned about now is Containment Priest. So I'm going to flash back this and I'm going to name Containment Priest. And I'm a god, so I name Containment Priest, and he has it in hand. Wow, I really wish that Iona was a Flame Kin Zealot right now, because that would just straight up win the game on this board. Just going to check if he's got a force, and then I'm going to reanimate Iona on white. I think, unless there's something really egregious in his hand. Okay, that's fine. In fact, I might name Iona on blue, but I'm not too concerned about either of those cards in his hand. I'm more concerned about him just top decking a Terminus, so I'm going to put it on white. There we go, easy game. I must say that Drevertone looked a lot better that game than I did in the previous league that I filmed, and I won't upload because 1, I forgot to record one of the games, and 2, it was with my old microphone, which did not sound very good at all. Yes, but that was an excellent game for Drevertone. In fact, it did a fair amount of work. Was it required? Was it necessary? Quite probably not, but list ran surprisingly well. Right, time for round 2. Played against this man. He plays blue-red Delver with 4 ley lines in the board. He ruined my league earlier. I ended the league 4-1, my 1 loss being to this man. But sometimes they just want to win more than you know, and that's fair enough. I hate it when I top deck Narcomoebas. I will be sad if he counters my Lion's Eye Diamond. If he dazes this, I will pay for the daze, and then I will just wait a turn. Okay. Force pitching force, fine. Guess I just cast looting, hope he doesn't have a daze. He does not. Somewhat awkward. Would be good if we could have hit another enabler here, but it is what it is. He doesn't have many cards left in hand now. And thankfully the Delver didn't flip, which should give us some more time. Prized amalgams lame. Yeah, the other annoying thing is what's remaining in the deck now is 3 Narcomoebas, 2 Icarids, because remember this is a 3 Icarid list, so we have 5 hits to get something that's relevant now. But when we do hit something, we will. There we go. We will have access to... the worst thing that could possibly happen here is the Delver's flip. We are better lucky than good. He's going to waste me, which is a completely irrelevant thing to be doing at this point in the game. And he swings, which seems like a mistake to swing with everything though. Again, we have like 0 dredges in graveyard, but at this point we just have to try for it, hope it pays off. Right, so next turn we can flash back Dread Return, take, bring back Griselbrand. I'm going to name Days for this, I think, because he's... what could it be? Maybe it's just a land. I'm going to name Days. Spell Pierce. So I have no food for the Icarid, so I'm going to discard this Stingray Imp. The good thing is that we now have a blocker for the light up the stage is an annoying card in this situation. I will block one, take less damage. If he flips counter spells, we might just lose. What does he flip? A Daze. That's gross. Eight mana, 3 in graveyard. If I try and attack, if I try and do Dread Return this turn, I can very easily just lose. Yes, so the reason I'm not going to try and take anything is it's possible if I try and therapy him, he in response spell pierces and then counters it with his own Daze, then cracks 2 Scalding Tarns. If he then top decks a Lightning Bolt, because that will give him 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, because they go to the graveyard when you cast them. So I'd flash back Cabal Therapy. He'd spell pierce me. He'd then daze his own spell pierce, or just daze my therapy again in response. It doesn't really matter if he holds priority. Just spell pierce in response daze as well. He'd have 4 instants of sorceries in the graveyard, which means Terramandal would cost 4 to flip. With 4 lands, he'll play a land. If he top decks Lightning Bolt, kills my Narcomoeba, swings, I'm straight up dead. But I mean, he doesn't even. If he top decks Bolt, he can just swing and then bolt me post combat. So I'm not going to do anything at all right now. I'm simply just going to pass the turn, discard Dread Return. I think is the thing which gives me the greatest chance of winning this game. That's scary if it's a brainstorm. It is a brainstorm. Oh dear, oh dear. Ponder, please shuffle. He's thinking a lot about this ponder. If he gets Lightning Bolt, which would be the worst possible card he could get, assuming that he's got 2 Lightning Bolts, so he'll have 1, 2, 3, 4. You can't cast 2 Lightning Bolts and flip Terramander. However, 2 Lightning Bolts would just win the game because he bolt Narcomoeba, then bolt my face. So if he's got 2 bolts, I straight up lose if he's got a bolt in hand. He can't flip the Terramander now. That is the one redeeming thing right now. He could daze one of his own spells to try and flip Terramander, I guess. Okay. Eat a Golgari Thug. Dredge Stink Midamp. Ooh! I can do the most unnecessary Dread Return Flame Kin Zealot. I'm going to test the coast is clear because I do not wish to get spell pierced. No. There's so many things that can go wrong if I flash back this Flamekin. If he's got a counter spell, I get 2 more zombies. I swing with 5 zombies. I just do it, don't I? God. Flame Kin Zealot is such a trash can card. Alright. Firestorm, I think it comes in versus Delver. That's what everybody says. Flame Kin Zealot does not seem necessary. Prized Amalgam does not seem necessary. To have 4 of them. And a Breakthrough? I don't have that many enablers though. I'm already down 1 enabler compared to a standard list. Maybe I go down to Dread Return. Dread Return's good in the matchup though. Just returning a big Grave Troll. This was the problem I had last time I played this list, though I think I've gotten a little bit better at it than before. I was a bit like, when do I ever bring in the Firestorms? But I think it's supposed to be against Delver decks. I'm going to take out another Prized Amalgam, I think. It's slow in the matchup. Dread Return seems a bit better. See, this is the problem with this deck. 3 of these cards are cards that could be something else. I mean, there's probably still under the keep, but this is good. I do not want Griselbrand in my hand. Oh yeah, I forgot, this is the man with ley lines in his deck. For God's sake. I even said this at the start of the first game. That's how he gets you. Jesus. Ugh, for God's sake. I just completely forgot about that. I mean, it's easy to do. You're just playing against blue-red Delver, you don't expect to get ley lined out of the game. Christ. Good thing is, Firestorm's a great card. Firestorm's just flat out amazing, so maybe I'll just win off the back of Firestorm and hardcast Golgari Thug. I mean, even if I'd sided in answers to Leyline, I have 4 claims, 4. So like, imagine that Firestorm was an H's claim, I'd still be stuffed here. The man had 2 ley lines. I'm going to wait a turn because I don't want to get dazed on this. Okay. Okay. Red mana. Discard 2. Discard these 2 because they do nothing. Done. Oh yeah, I need to watch the new Game of Thrones. That's what I can do this evening. I haven't even seen the previous episode, so you're not getting any spoilers from me, don't you worry. I haven't seen any of the newest season. How many episodes have there been now? 3? Is this the 3rd episode tonight? I've been sleeping on that, that's for sure. Yeah. Problems with gemstone mines. Hardcasting Thugs is just not a winning play against Delver. But we have no choice because I forgot to side in my answers to Leyline. That's going to flip. Yeah. I need some music. Right, I shouldn't have swung, he's got a 3-2 blocker. You can tell I'm not paying any attention to this game at this point. Let's put on the Flame album. Skip the intro. I'm somewhat inclined to just scoop at this point. I know what he's sided in. I'm not beating a young pyromancer with no lands. I think I'll save you guys the pain of watching this. I'll let him have a turn. Yeah, okay. I'll scoop on that. Let's make this a bit smaller, a bit more enjoyable to watch. Alright, so don't need any of that. 5 answers to Leyline seems good. Take out a Griselbrand seems unnecessary. I'm just going to do that. That seems... Yeah, seems good. It's as good as we can hope against a Delver deck with ley lines that can still easily just get forced. Please do not force of will me. Oh my god, Delver with ley lines is such a bad matchup. Alright, kept a no-lander. Alright. I might just name Delver here. I don't want him to drop a Delver and start hitting us. Because I want as many turns as possible to draw another answer to that ley line. We have 4 more in the deck, so... Another Force of Will and a Daze. Oh my god. Not sure we're winning this one, boys. Sorry, I'm getting a message that probably sounds terrible on the microphone. I'll move my phone away from it. Actually, that probably won't work because it's not an actual text. It's just WhatsApp or whatever the hell. Not that I use WhatsApp. Because it's owned by Facebook. Don't use WhatsApp. Use Telegram instead. It's owned by the Russians. You can trust the Russians. Right? Oh, you rude man. Not taking the Cephalid Colosseum. That's so cheeky. Ooh. We still have to get rid of that force though. Which gets a harder and harder proposition. We need to draw like exactly Cabal Therapy into land or something like that. I'll probably cast that Terramander. Okay, no, he's choosing not to. Oh, he's got a Lightning Bolt and a Force in exile. Okay. Ow. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think maybe if I hadn't screwed up and I'd remembered how I needed to sideboard against this guy game 2, we might have stood a chance, but as it currently stands, though that's very good. If we draw a land, we might actually be able to do something now. I'm going to discard the Icarid because I want to have breakthrough looting if I draw a land. Please tap out. One, two, three, four, five, six. Okay. I assume his hand's something like that. Alright. I think I'm just going to die to the Terramander next turn now. Yeah. Yeah, we might have stood a chance if I remember what was going on in game 2 there, but that's a more standard what you'd expect would happen if someone just has ley lines in their sideboard. Yeah, I'm not going to blame the deck there. That wasn't the deck's fault. That was just that's just an abysmal matchup, and he drew really well both games. Even then, even if we did sideboard correctly, game 2, we only saw one Firestorm. He had 2 ley lines, so yeah, it is what it is. Right, match 3. Boudreaux. I played against this guy. I think he's on fair decks. Not a good hand. Not a good hand. Not a good hand. It's still not a good hand. Yeah, this will do. Oh. Oh, that's not good. You stole my Griselbrand. Another reason not to run your own Griselbrand. Well, I'm just screwed. Alright, well, I'm not going to dredge, I'm going to try and draw breakthrough. It's not quite breakthrough, but it'll work next turn. It'll work through Chancellor as well. Seems fine. I'll stop passing so I can kill this at end step. Gross. Oh, I can't even target myself. Because the Chancellors. I'm just going to do this. Hopefully draw another Colosseum. Yeah, I'm not winning this one. We had a chance if we didn't brick on dredges there, but now we've got no chance. I am very dead. Well, we have no ley lines or any grave hate in the sideboard. Oh wait, yeah we do. Wait, stand corrected. Well, that's coming out, that's coming out. That's coming out. Guess maybe I could leave Flame Kin in actually, since yeah, maybe taking prized amalgam out's just better because it's too slow. Leaving 2 dread returns and Flame Kin because reanimating Flame Kin's just not a good play. Bring in the ley lines. I can't keep that, even though it's got a ley line. If he answers the ley line, I just flat out lose. Like, this hand does nothing. It doesn't even have a dredger or a way to draw cards. I could keep it, hoping to Cabal Therapy into whatever, but they know that we're on ley lines, so I'm going to mull this. This is more keepable, even though it's got no lands. No, it could just have the nuts, you could just have the Reverent Silence, but our opening hand was worse against that than this. Oh, cool, he had wear too. Alright. Chances are we just lose now. Well then. He had a turn 1 Griselbrand with way to destroy Leyline. Okay. If he gets Elish Norm, we flat out lose. Black Red's such a powerful deck. This sideboard is just not built to deal with it either. Yeah, I'm not going to waste our time. There's absolutely no way that we can beat Elish Norn in the deck, so I'm just going to scoop there. Save everybody the pain of watching me just lose over many turns. In fact, we'd probably die next turn anyway, so. Alright. That's what happens against Black Red when you brick, and then they answer your leyline. Right, so I just mistakenly didn't record the 4th round, which was against Nick Fit. I went 1-2. I'm not going to re-record this league because I tried to record a league with the step before, and I also forgot to record match 4. It was the exact same match in both leagues I forgot to record. I'm not going to redo it, partly because it wasn't a very interesting match. I won game 1 by comboing off. Game 2 he kept a hand without leyline. I kept a turn 1 with 2 Nature's Claims, so I had a breakthrough, a Grave Troll. Well, I think it was a Stinkweed Imp actually. Breakthrough, Stinkweed Imp, 2 Nature's Claims, an LED, some useless cards. He doesn't have a leyline. I just try and turn 1, and then I brick on dredges, and I don't hit Faithless Looting either. And then he proceeds to kill me while I proceed to do nothing. I think in fact he hard casts a leyline because he top decks a leyline a couple of turns after, and then hard casts it with mana from a Veteran Explorers that with a Cabal Therapy flashback. And then final game we mull to 4, trying to find a leyline answer. We threw back a 7, which was a turn 1 but didn't have an answer to leyline, and I thought, since it's the London mulligan, he'll either keep a hand with leyline or find a leyline on the draw. So we mull to 4. It was land, Stinkweed Imp, Nature's Claim, Faithless Looting. We draw with the we claim the leyline turn 1. Turn 2 we draw nothing relevant, and then Faithless Looting, and then discard 2 dredges and pass, and then proceed to die because he Fairy Macabres are 2 dredges out of the graveyard. So that was the game you just missed. I apologise for not recording it. But this is looking alright. Wait. Don't pass that. Yeah, I'm sorry for not recording that. That was my mistake. But whenever I play this deck, I get a bit frustrated and then do not wish to play the deck again, which is the reason why I do not want to. Not Dredge, but this specific list. Alright, so he instantly scooped, which makes me think that he's probably a leyline deck. That's generally where you get the instant scoops with no explanation. So I don't know which leyline deck, but against most of them, Ashen White is decent. So I'm going to do what I've been doing for sideboarding, which is taking out 2 prized amalgams, 1 dread return, and the targets, and then bringing in 4 nature's claims. Maybe that's a bit over the top, given that I've got no idea what they're on, but generally my intuition has told me that if they instantly scoop, they're probably on a leyline deck. Like, don't even play their first turn, because we didn't have a particularly quick turn there. So for them to just instantly scoop is something. Mulligan. Go on mulligan. If this had a dredger, I'd keep it. If this had another land, I'd keep it. But since it's got neither, I'm gonna mull. This is good. That's really awkward. I'm just gonna YOLO. Always trust your gut instincts. That means he's got a leyline. We should have just bottomed the grave troll. That was greedy. There are more dredges than there are answers to leyline in the deck, but I didn't know for certain it was a leyline deck. Oh, he didn't leyline me. Why did he not leyline me? There was a delay there. Oh, maybe. He was repeatedly mulliganing. Oh, that's so not obvious with the new mulligan rule. I think I'm gonna wait, get another land in play, just so I can hard cast thugs and stuff. Oh, even better. Yeah, I was gonna say I was gonna get the second land just so I had a way to hard cast thugs. Now, because of the fact that there's a chalice in play, there's no point cracking this for red because you can't cast Faithless Looting. I'm gonna crack it for black so I can cast Stinkweed Imp or a Golgari Thug. Yes, I was misreading what was going on there. I thought he was just not doing anything because he had the start of game leyline trigger, but it actually wasn't that. It was that he was still mulliganing. I still haven't got my head around this new mulligan rule. It's not very clear what's going on when it happens, I must say. But I'm not too concerned about Ensnaring Bridge. We have Ashen Rider in the deck. You have Dread Return in the deck. I'm not going to eat anything. I've got enough creatures on board at the moment. I don't wish to lose my bridge right now for 1 damage, just in case he's got a what do you call it? What do you call the thing? Fiery Confluence, that's the card. Yes, I do not wish to do that right now, just in case he has a Fiery Confluence. I'm going to return this now to get rid of the Ensnaring Bridge, just because if he top decks a Trinosphere, we will be unable to return it. And we do want to get rid of the Ensnaring Bridge, so we will do that now. So one of the few ways we can get locked out of the game is with Ensnaring Bridge. There we go. Easy game. Right, league finished. Overall, we went 2-3, including that match that I forgot to record. I think I gave a pretty fair explanation. It wasn't too interesting to watch. There was not really much back and forth. He top decked a ley line and slammed it, and we bricked on dredges, and then game 3 we were forced to mull really low to find an answer to ley line, and then failed to do anything after that. What's my thoughts on the deck? The main thing I will say, I've recorded 2 leagues with this now. The first one I'm not going to upload, as I said, but there was a massive difference in how good the hands were with this specific list compared to the back before, when we didn't have the London Mulligan. The London Mulligan makes having main deck Dread return a lot better. That I will say, because if you draw Dread return pieces, it's whatever. You've got 7 cards, you just throw away the ones you don't need. This is a deck where the combo pieces want to be in the deck. So that, if anything, I'd say that's one of the advantages of the London Mulligan, not specifically this deck, because this deck wasn't originally played during the London Mulligan, but having a main deck Dread return is much stronger under the London Mulligan, because it means that having redundant cards in your hand isn't as impactful as before. You can just get rid of them. What else will I say about this deck? I have zero clue why Elder Scaleworm is in the deck. I had a mini rant before where I was like, what is this for? It doesn't cover any of the bases that any of the other pieces doesn't cover. Iona and Elder Scaleworm are trying to do the same thing, but Iona's generally just better. Other cards I'm unsure about. Firestorm seems really unnecessary. We brought it in against Delver before we remembered they were on ley lines. It would probably be good against Delver. It just doesn't seem necessary unless your meta's full of elves. I just don't get the desire to ever bring the card in. It's not to say it's a bad card. It's clearly a good card. It's very powerful. And Dredge is 100% the best deck to abuse this card, but it's just not the right spot for it now. Maybe if there was some ubiquitous 1 mana grave hate creature that we had to get rid of, Firestorm would be a great thing to bring back, but right now that's not the case. 4 Nature's Claims. Why? Why 4? Yeah, why 4 Nature's Claims? It just seems crazy to me to have 4 Nature's Claims and nothing that either deals with double leyline or deals with Chalice plus leyline. I feel like you need to either pick, am I going to be able to beat Chalice plus leyline with my piece of anti-grave hate, or am I going to be able to beat double leyline? I think Nature's Claim overall is a good card, but 4 of them is overkill, especially with 1 Chain of Vapor. The 4 prized amalgams, they seemed good. Not great. I don't think they're necessary, but they were nice to have. And they make sense with the Dread returns. The Griselbrand and the Flame Kin Zealot. The Griselbrand was good. The Flame Kin Zealot was not good. Even in situations where we could potentially bring it back, doing so would not have won us the game, was what I experienced during this league. Griselbrand, however, seemed pretty good. A bit windmore, but it gives you a big flying life-linking 7/7 that mills your whole deck out, lets you cast all of your Cabal therapies. That seems okay. What else could I say about this? It's an interesting list. Would I play this in a tournament over the standard list? Almost definitely not. Not in this current form. I would dramatically change the sideboard, cut out all the firestorms, cut the Elder Scale Worm, mess around with the Artifact of Enchantment Destruction, put in some Lotus Petals. I don't like the main deck either. I'd rather play the standard main deck, but I'm interested in some of the choices and how well this Zachary O'Hara man, how well he did both individually, and why the somewhat abnormal card choices. 2 Dread Returns main deck's very uncommon, as well as 2 targets. So is 4 prized amalgams. I'm sure there's some mentality behind this, but it goes against a lot of the existing thoughts about the deck. The careful study, swap, and no putrid imps. No putrid imps I can deal with. Going up a careful study makes sense with the mana base. All in all, I think that there are interesting ideas here, but overall I would say, personally, in my opinion, having played now a couple of leagues with this deck, I think it's not great compared to the standard list, but that's just my thoughts. It's nice to always try out different things, and it's always good to question existing wisdom, unless your questioning of existing wisdom is suggesting that Manaless Dredge is better than LED Dredge, or you are suggesting to run Flame Kin Zealot on the main deck. Neither of those things are a good questioning of existing wisdom. Okay, hope you enjoyed the league, guys. Sorry I wasn't a bit talkative in those last few games, but there wasn't too much to say. Somewhat mentally checked out. But yeah, hopefully enjoyed that.